G'day guys, welcome back to Beyond This World. My name is Bailey. Today we're talking about the Bondi shooting. Obviously, very sad topic, very sad day for those involved, and obviously the deaths. But I wanted to not talk about the religious side so much between obviously the Jews and the Muslims, but what they're actually trying to enforce by this event. Now, if I cast your minds back to the Port Lincoln massacre or Port Arthur massacre. Um, and they enforced as a byproduct of that event the seizure of guns. It was a gun control sort of thing. This, I believe, is predominantly around digital ID, but it's also about dividing and conquering through blaming certain religious groups. Obviously, you remember the pro-Palestine march that happened over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Um, there's just been things that have been leading to this event. Not saying that that's a direct link to this, but you got to remember that things that don't probably happen in our backyard or letting people in that do have extreme ideologies can lead to extreme events such as this. Again, I'm not going to go down sort of the political realm. Pauline Hanson obviously wearing a burqa in Parliament a couple of weeks back, and uh, and the whole multiculturalism thing, how people are saying, "Oh, multiculturalism doesn't work." I do believe multiculturalism does work, and it has had instances of success in the past. Obviously, with the sort of Christian Lebanese, the Greeks, Italians, all came to this country and did very well and assimilated with obviously shared core values that we respect here in Australia. But when things like this happen, you got to wonder, well, why? Why? I mean, apart from obviously the deaths, which are tragic and very sad, they do want to enforce something. Will it be stricter laws? Will it be more surveillance, sorry, would it be more control? Will it be more sort of harsher laws as a result? So let me show you this video. It's a minute and 10.
Australia is done. First they banned the bows, then they banned machetes and swords. Now they're coming for guns. This isn't random, it's sequential. Because once digital ID is fully embedded, once surveillance is total, once Australians are politically and culturally disarmed, there is no resistance, only compliance. This is the emasculation of a nation in real time. Australia is being marched toward technocratic control, where the state tracks, restricts, and ultimately dominates every aspect of your life. Not through tanks in the streets, but through databases, permissions, and safety laws. Say goodbye to the Australia you knew. Because when every safeguard is gone, the government can do whatever it wants. And citizens have no leverage, no protection, no recourse. This is exactly why the United States enshrined the Second Amendment, not for chaos, not for crime, but as a final check against state overreach. What's happening here isn't progress, it's submission, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. Australia, wake up. This isn't some sort of race war. The Australian government doesn't have the guts to deport people. This is exactly what they want. Wake up.
And essentially, just like Port Arthur, this is again, there's different layers to this. It's not exactly like Port Arthur, but it's the way that they conduct it, and the way that they get a nation talking. And it's interesting how, this gentleman here, George, comments like stuff like this, because we have to see what's happening in the UK in order to see what's going to be happening in our own backyard. It's coming, it's here. It's we're already on a track that essentially is going to be leading to a similar situation. And they're only going to accelerate it. The under 16s thing is only going to accelerate. Under 16 social media bans only going to accelerate now. they want to divide and conquer us. They want it to be about religion. They want it to be about, Jews, Muslims, this, that. No, it's about more control, more surveillance, more, harsher laws, digital ID. That's what they are going to enforce. They might stop immigration as a result of this. I don't think so. I don't think Albo's got the balls to do it. And Albo clearly wants anarchy. He does. He honestly does. But what do you guys reckon? Comment down below, like and subscribe. What do you think is happening next? If you're an Australian citizen and you've come from another country, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? You know, it's a tough time. It's an interesting time just before Christmas. It's not ideal, but it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that we need to bring awareness to. It's something we need to just keep in mind and have the awareness around with the digital ID, because once they enforce it, just like the COVID vaccines, just like the mandatory COVID vaccines, everyone are the sheep, we are the product, we are owned by the state.